Stephen Groves was the White House deputy press secretary during the last impeachment trial, and he served as a member of Trump's legal team during the Mueller investigation, and he joins us now. Thanks for joining us tonight, Stephen.
Thanks for having me.
Great. So the Democrat House impeachment managers, they had the floor first again today to lay out their case. Was there anything about their argument that really stood out to you?
What stood out to me was that I was hearing a lot of what happened years ago and tweets that happened in 2015 and something about Governor Whitmer from Michigan and the Charlottesville thing. I didn't hear a lot about the president's actual speech, which should be the only thing they're talking about. So what stood out to me was like an absence of evidence.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And when it comes to the Whitmer plot, we saw many of the suspects who were on camera talking about how much they hated President Trump. Some of them want to go after President Trump as well, not just Governor Whitmer. We saw them yelling F the blue. They hated police as well, many of these militiamen who were suspects. And of course, it was President Trump, it was his administration who caught on to the plot and who was able to foil the plot too as well. So it's interesting that they're trying to use this Michigan kidnapping plot against President Trump during his impeachment trial. And of course, now we're seeing that the snap impeachment vote that first happened last January. It seems like it's all happening so fast. Is this sloppier, would you say, than the last impeachment trial that we saw?
Of course it is. Of course it is. You can't have business done the way that the House did this time around by going directly to articles and directly to the floor without it being sloppy. I mean, we thought the last impeachment about the Ukraine phone call was sloppy and devoid of due process. This time, they just skipped over the whole thing. No more basement hearings with Adam Schiff and show hearings with Jerry Nadler. They just skipped all of that and went right to the charges. So, of course, as more facts come out that are favorable to the president, as more information comes out that shows that this crowd was pre-planning this and not incited by the president, the Democrats have to rely on things like Governor Whitmer in Charlottesville to try to make an emotional response to the Senate. I think it's going to fail miserably.
Yeah, and to your point about Charlottesville, when Congressman Raskin brought it up and they played video, of course, they cut out the part, as they tend to do, selectively edit it so that they don't show the part where President Trump specifically condemned neo-Nazis and white supremacists, as he's done many, many times throughout the years. But specifically when it came to Charlottesville, he made that very clear. But yet House impeachment managers didn't show you that part, just like how yesterday we saw they didn't show the part of President Trump's January 6th speech in which he said to be peaceful and patriotic.
Well, yeah, the good people on both sides hoax continues to have legs in the Democratic world. They just seem to think if they repeat that enough without giving the context, without giving the full statement, that Americans will continue to believe it. Smart Americans aren't fooled. And most importantly, for our purposes, the senators, they're not fooled. The Republicans that they are trying to persuade in the Senate today to possibly change their votes, they know that the both side, good people on both sides thing is a complete Democrat hoax. So again, I'm not quite sure why they think this is compelling evidence.
And so tomorrow we're going to see President his legal team. It's their first full day to lay out their case. What can we expect from their arguments?
Well, I hope we hear a lot different things than we heard on the first day, to be honest. They have to do what the Democrats failed to do, is keep the Republicans they need to lock down those Republican votes. The way you do that is through hard facts. We saw a lot of videotape that the Democrats put on that was all crafted for show. It was propaganda video type stuff. I didn't see a lot of time stamping on that video or the photographs. If the president's lawyers can now come forward and say, this is when this happened, this is when they started to charge the Capitol steps, when the president wasn't even done with his speech. These are the people who pre-planned this attack, meaning they were not incited by the president's speech. Those are salient facts. That is compelling evidence that senators will listen to. So I'm hoping that's what we're going to hear tomorrow.
And of course, you have experience with the whole Mueller witch hunt that we saw with the Russia witch hunt, where President Trump was investigated by people at the FBI who were texting each other back and forth, "Viva la revolution," President Trump, "You'll never become president because we'll stop it," insurance policy. We saw all of this coordination. And now we see fast forward to 2021 with the second impeachment circus, this sham. And look who's presiding over it. Yet again, another anti-Trump partisan. It's Senator Patrick Leahy, someone who's tweeted that he wants President Trump convicted. He's not a judge in any serious definition of the word.
No, he's making American history here because, number one, he's a witness to the events. He was in the Senate when this terrible assault on the Capitol building happened. He is a juror. He will be voting on the article of impeachment, and he's serving as the presiding officer and the judge. So at no time in American history has something this bankrupt of due process, this appearance of impropriety, and actual impropriety been allowed to happen with Senator Leahy sitting up in that chair. The American people will reject this, and it's very, very likely that the Republican senators will also reject this.
Stephen Groves, thank you so much for dropping by tonight, for sharing with us some of your expertise in the matter.
Thank you for having me on.
Thanks for watching the Heritage Foundation's YouTube channel. With more than 500,000 members, we are the nation's largest conservative research and education institution. We believe the principles and ideas of the American founding are worth conserving and renewing. Please help us further our mission by subscribing to this channel and sharing our videos with your family and friends.